Islam.
Islam, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you good.
Islam, brother. How you doing?
How's everybody? How's the fam?
Very well, man. Thanks for asking. Everybody's good. Peace, all human families of the planet Earth. Thanks for having us on, man.
Man, let me hit this record and let's get busy. Okay, let me share. Let me get the other list. Give me 1 minute. Okay, Islam, welcome. This is Judo Woke Ace. I'm here with the legendary Aseer, the Duke of Tears, man. What's going on?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Chilling, man. Chilling. This has been a hectic year, man. In 2021, already been more hectic.
Yeah, man. We still in it. I know. We still in it, man. We got until March.
Right, man. We just had we're gonna start it off. We just had the Noble Drew Ali born day just passed on the 8th. And so into the 2021 for January, how you see the future of the Moors right now with the movement or with the beliefs or with the unity heading into the 2021 right now?
I think it's the best time for us to be united or us to fall into a position of actual control of our communities, of our thing. Like, I think this is the best time for us to be able to do that. Just based upon everybody is at war with each other. And right now, the Moors are the only ones that are non-enemy combatants in amity, basically with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, we the only ones that's not at war with nobody right now. You know what I'm saying? What we are at war with as Moors is mental death and power. You know what I mean? The lower self, ignorance, pettiness, hatred, that type of stuff. I feel like that's what we're more dealing with externally, but whatever, internally, but externally, I don't think there's anything that can really stop where this thing is moving, especially if it's moving towards a Republican form of government again. That's actually better for us. And this is what we've been talking about for years. From the first show that I ever did with you to now, we've been talking about that. So it's definitely a good thing, I think, for those of us that identify with being anything outside of Negro, Black, colored, African American, United States citizen. All of these words of art and proprietary words or names that belong to a now defunct corporation. So I think that anybody that comes out of those slave definitions right now is going to be able to accomplish great things. I just feel like none of it is going to happen if everybody's still relying on a foreign government to solve their problems.
Right.
Especially if that foreign government is falling from power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's getting crazy. They got the storming of the Capitol. They got they saying it's false flags. You got saying Antifa. Everybody blaming each other.
Right. But in the end, we know that nobody could just walk up in the White House and just start bugging out, going crazy like that, especially with no guns. Like, those of us that have watched movies, like, we saw White House down, we saw Olympus is falling, you know what I'm saying? Like, we saw these movies that they was pumping in which the White House got took over, and none of them scenarios was anything like the one we saw.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What we saw was straight theater. That wasn't even.
You got dudes coming in dressed up, you know what I'm saying, in Paul Bunyan outfits. You had people with minks and furs on and Viking helmets.
That's an old ritual. That bison, remember, we're now in the Chinese year of the ox.
Okay.
Right? So this dude who went in there wearing the bull horns and all of that, that's representative of the oxen in the time we in. You understand? The ox is also the first word in the Phoenician alphabet, or what they refer to as Aleph, which is the ox. So it's the ability to, when you look at what oxes do, they move things forward. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it also is symbolic to the Herculean or the Hercules cult that gets mistaken for like grassroots pagan groups. So the Herculean or the Hercules worship is where you get the pedophilia, the pedagogy, the taking off of a human, of an animal carcass, wearing it on your head, that type of stuff.
Right.
That represents the
Similar to when they
Herculean
get
stuff.
like what Tupac was saying, they was running around with the go heads and all that, right?
Yes. Whenever you see them do stuff like that, that's a Herculean ritual. So Hercules is, again, one of those pseudo gods that they created to justify their fictitious Western civilization. But the Hercules thing really comes from the Hereshef thing, which was an ancient corrupted dynasty of melanated people back in the time of what they call Egypt. And that type of evil, which was really a pre-creation type evil that was left over, was so heinous in the so-called ancient Egyptian culture that they wiped all memory of it from existence. So the descendants of those people who were practicing this type of crazy bloodletting rituals and blah, 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 they all went into different societies. So this is where we get the Greek, what they call the Greek oracles and the Greek of Delphi and all of that. This is where we get these things. And then this is where we start to see human sacrifice become a big thing prevalent in the ancient world, and what they, from the ancient to the classical world. You understand? And so wherever we saw evidence of that, we would strike it down. We would get rid of it, because our ancestors is the one that shut down the Hereshef and shut down all of that, going all the way back now to the time of a guy they refer to as Osar Seth or Osar Sith.
Right.
Anyway, he allegedly is the archetype of the person they refer to as Moses. But in his story, he was a disgruntled sheik or chief who got kicked out. And so he went amongst the lepers in the caves and then basically politicized them, cleaned them up enough, and then sent them back into so-called Egypt to basically destroy everything. We saw evidence of this in the movie The Mummy Part 1, where you see the Part 2 or whichever one where they showed Egypt, where they had all the Anubis figures running through, killing everybody.
Yeah,
that was basically, that was like evidence or reminiscent of that. They just flipped it to make it look like it was black people or the black gods doing that. But essentially, this Hereshef or this type of regime that exists on the sexual destruction of children, the castrating of males, you know what I'm saying? The heavy, deplorable human sacrifice, that energy, that pervasive energy kept going. And so when we would shut it down in one place, the descendants would go somewhere else and they would pop it off somewhere else. So that's why you get the Phoenicians. And then amongst the Phoenicians, you had a little core sect in there that was worshiping something they refer to as Molech, right? So they wanted to seem like all of the Phoenician people was into this fake cult. You know what I'm saying? Then you have another one they call Baal or Baal or Baal, right? That was another one. And that wasn't all of the people of these ancient places doing that. That was those that were connected to this ancient rite that I was talking to you about, that started off Hereshef, that went into Hercules, that went into Herculean, then went into Hercule, then went into Hermeticism. You see what I'm saying? And then that became the basis that they would use to integrate this type of deplorable deviancy into what they would perceive as modern, what's the word for it? Modern social interaction. So to the rest of the Phoenicians, Molech was to the real Phoenicians that wasn't with that BS, whenever you heard Molech or Melech, you thought teacher, because Melech or Molech or Melech means teacher. Like Muli means teacher. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So they took the righteous name, like they always do, and then turn it into something else. You see what I'm saying? By turning it into Molech, the baby eater. You see what I'm saying? So they used to have what they call abattoirs or abaters or abattoirs, where they would just throw the excess of all of the people they sacrificed. You know what I'm saying? So in ancient Rome, so in the time, in one of the so-called Roamian kingdoms, because there really was no Rome, but in the Roamian kingdoms, they used to have abattoirs where when people would have unwanted babies, they would just go and throw the baby in the abattoir. So if you could imagine a junkyard, but instead of it being cars, it'd just be full of babies, full of people. This is the culture that these people come from. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is what they were born
I know
into.
they got a term now, a new term that they use. I know Bill Gates call them useless eaters.
Yes, or useful idiots. Yeah, useless eaters, useful idiots. Yes,
so
that's what
they getting rid of the excess weight or whatever, you know.
Right, because these are the blue lodges. They also call them blue lodges. These are the people who've been living under them for so long, trying to come up and curry favor that they're willing to sacrifice themselves to become a familiar. So that essentially was what Freemasonry is. So that's what I'm saying in terms of this modern epoch that we in, when we see things like satanic ritualistic abuse, which they refer to as SRA, or when you see like generational molestation and this type of stuff, incest, this is where all this stuff is coming from.
Right.
You understand?
So
it
I
ain't just
know they Nancy Pelosi submitted some type of rules where she can't say father, mother, brother, sister.
Yeah, they trying to pass that. They trying to pass this law that says that you can't use terms like mother, father, daughter, son, uncle, aunt.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So it's more or less like what I want to ask you too. It's looking like more with this with the Biden and the Kamalas, they leaning more towards the trannies, the gender X, the transhumanism, where you know what I'm saying, where they want to merge themselves with the robots and everybody is everybody's an X. So what you think about that?
It's more of the same BS, the same Hercules stuff, same stuff they was trying to do. You know what I mean? Have what they call peerage marriages, where you marry your sister and stuff like that to keep the bloodline so-called pure. But what that does is it breeds insanity into the family. So all of that is part of the retardation of humanity as it moves forward. So anything that these people can do to go against the natural order of things, they're going to do. And so anybody that supports them is either being paid by them, is under some sort of mental spell by them, or hates humanity enough to support them in whatever they do.
Right.
It's really that simple now. So ignorance is no longer a part of the equation because the internet is out there. You got the open net, you got the internet, you got the open net, you got the dark net, you got the dark web, you got the wild web.
What about you? I know you got the. What about the intranet? I know that's still they still
then
use
the intranet, then the spectranet.
Right.
They haven't even you don't even hear nobody talking about the spectranet, but that's a whole nother thing.
I know the intranet. That was what Sears was. I know I used to work for Sears. My wife, they used to use that. I think they use that same system. Whatever Sears is still out there, they use the same green screen.
Yes. Yes, it's the system that they employ when they do whatever they're doing. And so we are witness of an open civil war between the Brotherhood of Death and the Brotherhood of Eagles. The Brotherhood of Death would be signified by Biden.
Right.
The Brotherhood of the Eagle would be signified by Trump. You know what I'm saying? And so the Brotherhood of the Eagle is also the Brotherhood of the Scorpion. You know what I'm saying? Because the eagle and the scorpion is synonymous. You know what I'm saying? So whenever you see an eagle, so like in the Bible, when it says that the beast had the face of a man, face of a lion, face of an eagle, and the face of a bull, that represents the four corners of the celestial ephemeris, which is the bull is Taurus, the man is Virgo, the eagle is Scorpio, and then the lion is Leo. So from those signs is how they basically work, they cross. You see what I'm saying? And then the other signs are in the middle of the 4 quadrants. So they rule and do what they do in aspect of that, from that perspective. So like where we start the alphabet with 1, the satanic alphabet starts A, whereas A, for us, A would be 1, but in their alphabet, the satanic alphabet, A is 36. B is 37. You see what I'm saying? So when they be talking and they be doing a Kabbalah, they doing it based on their sidereal, they satanic stuff. So, you know, like you'll go in a Germatronator and then you'll type in different names to get the numeric value and what they correspond to. They have different ciphers. So you have a base cipher, you have a sidereal cipher, you have a Kabbalistic cipher, you have a satanic cipher. You see what I'm saying? And then in each one, there's an algorithm that circumvents, that goes through each one of those to produce the perfect primes for whatever they want to initiate. So this is the supercomputer system that they had been developing from IBM back during the Auschwitz days, when they was putting tattoos.
When we get into the supercomputer things, is that okay? What about the CERN thing?
Same computer.
So that opens up the portals. Well, I know we didn't touched on that numerous of times with the CERN and how they open it up. They used I think
the CERN thing is connected to the Dominion voting machines.
Okay.
That's how they was able to do the quantum computing through the algorithm, because the algorithm was supposed to predict how many people was gonna vote for Trump. So he won based upon that projection. So they had to get their algorithm to create another model by which he would lose. And then they integrated that in quantum time through atomic time by syncing the Dominion machine up with whatever they doing with the CERN stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why the atomic,
that's like a portal thing. We don't know if they fucking time traveling through the shit. We don't know. All we know is they use the actor to open it.
Well, they're dealing with quantum entanglements.
Right.
What we perceive as time travel is not accurate. We perceive time as a linear variable to go into the future. So in front of you is the future and back you is the past. Time doesn't work like that. Time is insurmountable. It's a wave. So it's forever going forward, forever going backward, forever going forward, forever going backward. But there's certain elements within that structure that can only go backwards. You see what I'm saying? That's tachyons, for instance, right? So a tachyon is a variable life inference that basically always travels back. So if you want to go back in time, you would somehow be able to tack on the tachyon to trace where you're going. But the problem with time travel as it's perceived is they want you to believe you can go back into the past, right? And then affect it and then come back to the point that you left.
Right.
That's not really how it goes.
No, we grew up watching Quantum Leap and shit, you know.
Right. Right. And they gave us the basic aspect of that. But really, if you was to go back into the past now, that past now becomes the future that you're going into. You understand? You can't now go back into this new fact, into this new, the past. Okay, you're in the future. You go back to the past. At the point now that you're in the past, the future that you just came from does not exist. So you can't now go into this past now, into this. Now you have to stay in the past and rock that future into the future, you see? But how can you do that when you just left the future? You see the problem? So when you leave one time variant and go into, let's say, a future time variant to go into a past time variant, that past that you go into and the future you just came from no longer exists. You are now on a different path now. You're going into a different future now from the time that you went back. You understand? There's also a variable that says that you can't really go back before the time machine that sent you there was created because it don't exist in that time. So how can you go back to a variable aspect that don't exist? See, our ancestors never looked at time like that. That's why the problem. We look at time as well as everything else through the eyes of a damn caveman. And this dude don't know what time is. You know what I'm saying? It's relative to whatever sphere of influence that you're in. Right now, where I'm at, it's like 6:30, let's say. Right. But in China, it's like 2 a.m. You see what I'm saying? But we still on the same earth. You dig? But the time variable is different depending on where I am geolocated. So what these people are trying to do is put everybody on what they call demon time. You heard all these rappers use this term, demon time. Oh, she on demon time. Oh, he on that demon time. This the new term they on. Because rappers, they all servants of the beast. You understand? All of them. The ones that's not, or the ones that was positive, that you don't hear from them no more. So they don't count. The very term rapper, the reason why they started calling you a rapper instead of an MC. See, we came up with MCs.
Right.
That changed, right?
Yeah, and
who changed that?
The DJ led the party.
Right. Who changed the term? Who made it so that we go from MCs to rappers?
Well, you guys, the executives.
Yes, I mean, yes, but who implemented that in the community?
I mean, Def Jam was really probably the leader. You got to say, if who implemented, you got to say Russell Simmons and probably the Boule.
Okay, yes, we're talking about that on the managerial realm. I'm talking to the actual person who was like, we rappers now, we not MCs.
Oh, I wouldn't even know who, Tupac or something.
See, right there, you got it. See, you do know him or her or whoever. That guy, that character.
Right.
All right. That character is the one that made it with rappers, where now we're going to be rappers. Because Tupac was really one of the first rappers, period, to set off the feature game.
Right.
Niggas wasn't really doing features like that with each other unless they was in the same clique back in the days. Tupac was the first one to go out there and say, yo, give me 900, I'll do this verse for you. Give me 250, I'll do this for you, even if I don't know.
He had love on all coasts.
Right. But he set that whole thing off, and that's what started to set the feature price. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's when you started seeing, after that is when you start seeing people bite that, like your man Puffy with the Flavor in Your Ear remix. You see what I'm saying? Started bringing all these different people together, right? Because now this is multiple publishing we working with. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So in essence, the rapper, which basically busts down to 38, you know what else is 38? Sacrifice, murder, kill, rapper, Freemason. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So when Lil Wayne now comes to say he's the greatest rapper alive, you see what I'm saying? This now solidifies it even more. So now niggas don't want to be MCs no more.
But hold on. Before we go to that part, let's back up. Remember in Crush Groove, we had a heavy appearance of the Boule.
Yes.
You had the executives right there that was looking at this underground. Because I remember I was watching it like during the Corona thing. I really watched the Crush Groove and seen it from a different eye.
Perspective. Yeah, that's what they're doing. I'm not saying that the executives ain't doing it, but the implementation always comes in through the artist.
Right.
Because the people don't care about the executive. They don't know him. They only care about the artist. So the artist is the one that's on the hook for everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He the one that they gonna make look like, oh, see, he's a rapist. Oh, look, see, he was a this. So this is the Roman theater. This is the Roman stage. This is how the Aeropagites set off their pageants. They put on plays and pageants and stuff like that and get you caught up in that. And then while you was watching the play and stuff, they would have a nymph walk around picking your pocket, try to get your little gold doubloons and stuff while you so up on a signal. That's why we banished all of these niggas to the Mount Areopagite. It was a mountain called Areopagite or Areopagus. And that's what we would basically lock them up in. All the crazy castrados and the ones cutting their penises off and ones having sex with animals and all that, we would lock them all up in there. So the only way they can make money was to basically create themselves as a spectacle. So this is where they would come down on a Midsummer Night's Eve, like what Shakespeare would write, and they would put on plays where they would play different pre-creational creatures like the faun and the satyr and the, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
And the elves and the dwarfs and all that shit. So we would watch all of that with these freaks, and then we would go home. But then it got to a point where these dudes was trying to actually come into modern society and bring those fake laws, that fake mythology law, and make it real. Because remember, these are still the leftover deviates from the Hereshef thing that fled ancient Egypt when we destroyed it and set up little pockets to still practice this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And
right,
so that
right.
eventually,
You know, that's why a lot of the Puppet Master movies, they was all like Armenians or Gypsies.
right.
Or shit.
That's right, bro. That's right. Because all of these guys were working for the same demon, the same type of devil energy. And these Aeropagites, they became known as Aeropagites. And these Pagites were put on pageants. This is where the term pageant or beauty pageant, because they were also pagans. This is where the word pagan also comes from. You see what I'm saying? Right. They were forbidden to have land because you couldn't own property unless you was a male or female. So when these dudes cut off their penises and then try to become females and stuff, they no longer held no property. So if the Romans were smart enough not to do shit like that, right? And they let these dudes rock, why would the American populace allow somebody to create a system where they could no longer refer to their children as son or daughter? Why would you create a system where nobody can be labeled as to what they are? How are you going to make somebody who was born a man, right, and now is a woman, and then you put her next to my mother, and I have to respect this man at the same level of femininity that I respect my mother? And you expect me to accept that? If I accept that, then that means that I am insane. You know what I'm saying? That means that I have gone against the 25,000 years worth of memory, 25 million years worth of memory information, right? To now go against that and accept that. So you want me to accept you as you are when you couldn't accept yourself as you were. Think about that. So that means you want me to do something for you that you could not do for yourself. And then if I don't do it, then you'll want to make it like somehow I'm oppressing you. That's the same logic that says if I'm wearing a little cloth mask and you're not, I'm going to get your disease. How can that be if you're the one that's so gung-ho masky, right? You got the covering. I don't. So if anything will happen, you're going to be protected, right? No, because you know it's bullshit. Because these people done rewritten over 150 years of information on epidemiology, virology, and everything else.
Yeah, they little assessments or they little things of the medical.
It's all a lie. It's all a lie. It's a blatant lie.
You can shut down a restaurant, but you can walk in Myers or you can walk up in Walmart with no test, nothing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make my parents understand or elders understand it. You know, I'm like, look at it. It's no pandemic. If it's no pandemic, if you can open your window and look out your shades and there's nobody panicking.
It's not an epidemic if they're telling you that people are dying by the hundreds and thousands and you ain't seen one dead body.
Right.
The way that they talk, you're supposed to see bodies all over the street. You're supposed to see people in half masks. You seen the movies.
On TV is like it's death, but then you open your shades or we go outside, people jogging.
How is it we dying from something with a 99.9% survival rate? That shit is a lie. It's a weaponized cold that they convinced y'all niggas to take, and now y'all taking a vaccine that's not going to give y'all the actual disease that they was trying to give you in the first place. And then you mad at us because we have already seen. I saw the bitch pass out. Nobody told my Tiffany Dover. Remember her, the nurse that took the joint and then allegedly passed out, and then they got a death certificate up. Then the next day they come out, the parents say, well, please respect our privacy, but she's still alive. But then the next day the father divorces the mother. What's up with that?
That's another thing I got a question for. We got the standardized vaccine passports they trying to pass. We got the Pfizer, Moderna, the other pharmaceutical companies that you can't sue, and the government won't compensate you for damages either. And this is on CNBC reporting this. So what's the purpose of taking this shit if you can't get no money?
That's called the compelled benefit.
Nobody's held liable.
It's illegal. I cannot be forced to that's called the compelled benefit in law. You're compelling me to do something that doesn't benefit me but benefits you. That's against the law. That's also a breach of equity in law. Equity says that any injury has to be compensated or there is no contract. You understand? Therefore, If there is no remedy, then there can be no If there is no remedy, there can be no contract.
But that violates also the Geneva Code.
It's genocide. It's the
Nuremberg
trials. Yes, that's
that
what all this
violates
is.
everything.
Because it's the same people, man. It's the same white Nazis trying to pump their same little BS, but it's not gonna work, bro. What I think is gonna go down is Duke is gonna step down as the 45th president of the United States. And then he's going to reestablish himself as the 19th president of the Republic of the United States of America in General Congress Assembled. Because the 18th president before Washington, see, there were 18 presidents when our people was running the country, attached to the Haudenosaunee or the Iroquois Confederacy. The last of those presidents was a dude named Osiris Griffin Bey, who the modern American people refer to as Cyrus Griffin. But he was Osiris Griffin Bey.
What was the name again?
The United States Corporation history says his name was Cyrus Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
However, the Moorish elders know that his name was Osiris Griffin Bey. He, I believe, was the 18th president under the original republic that was established out of the Americae Confederate Sigillium Magnus, right? The original American Republic, going all the way back to Carthage, all right? And those Moors consolidated the republic. But back then, at one point, the entire Continental Congress was the president, or what they call the Principes, which is where we get the term prince in principle. Then another term, you had it where certain people like Edmund Randolph Bey, who was Pascal Beverly Randolph's father, he served as president, but back then you would serve 2 years instead of 4. If they wanted you to be in for 4 years, you would have to get a special thing from the government to extend your tenure. So after Osiris Griffin, that's when the interregnum came. And then that's when George Washington or George Washington was chosen based upon his connection to the Baron de Cameron and the Cameron plantation or the Cameron Moors out of Edom, AKA Virginia, that he grew up with or grew up under. He grew up on a plantation.
Right.
So he was used because he was the perfect combination of those foreign transportation-born European Moors, right, who were coming over here in exile, who then married indigenous princesses here and then produced the first generation of foreign-born European nobility marrying indigenous, you see what I'm saying, autochthonous Moors here. And then that product produces this mulatto child that then goes on to then be people like Alexander Hamilton, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. You see, these mulattoes that's now running shit on both sides. But they are esquires because technically they're still British subjects because their ancestors were brought over here under the Transportation Act. You see what I'm saying? And under the jurisdiction of the United Colonies. So the United Colonies that eventually became the United States were given that once the foreign-born were able to vote in the Republic under a order that mandate that came from Chief Tammany, who they called Tammany, who was the patron saint of America. The patron saint of America is a Moor named Chief Tammany, who they named Tammany Hall, who they used to run New York through, the Empire State through. When you look at the movie Gangs of New York, and you talk about the butcher, when they go down to City Hall, they showing you how it was Tammany, and you see the dude wearing the Moorish vector on his chest with the gloves and the apron. So these United Colony people, like I said, was the first generation born here mixed. Once the new government was going to take over, Washington, for whatever reason, was chosen. So he became he's not the first president. You see, he couldn't be the first. Hanson and them was the first. But after Osiris and they switched the government, he became the head of the Continental Armies, you see, appointed by us.
Right.
And then once he became head of the Continental Armies and held that down enough, we said, okay, you're going to be the first trustee, i.e. president of the so-called pseudo-jurisdiction United States, i.e. District of Columbia. But you have to now let the Sultan know that you're going to take over the obligation of the debts, you see? So that's where he went and wrote the Sultan after, and then put the United States back under the Moroccan Empire as an attachment, in his words, when you read the letter that Washington wrote the Sultan. So essentially, he was the first president under the Constitution for the United States, but technically he wasn't even a president. He was just the administrative officer that was put in that position by the true officers that had went into interregnum, i.e. recess. So now what Trump is doing, if this goes down, he gets inaugurated in the White House as opposed to the Congress, because the Congress is compromised. He gets sworn in the White House. He gets sworn in at Casablanca, right? Because that's the White House. He gets sworn in Casablanca. Now, he does that through Article 3. The Republic is back in play. He signs the Insurrection Act. The Republic is back in play because the Insurrection Act is against the United States, District of Columbia, and NATO, and anybody supporting the foreign influence.
Let's get into that. So that's what they was calling this storming of the Capitol insurrection, right?
Right. But the people who stormed it were the Democrat people, posing as Trump people.
Right.
So really, that's espionage now. That goes against the Espionage Act. Because while that went down, though, they so think that they also had special forces dudes up in the mix spying on them, and that's how they was able to get Pelosi's laptop.
Right, Pelosi. We got talking about that. We got Pelosi's laptop came up. You know, they got the guys sneaking in and out. While everybody in chaos, they got pictures of the guys going down the steps.
Right.
I did.
So these are so these was the agents that was already stuck on these dudes to investigate and get the real info. So once they got the laptop, they found that Pelosi is trying to take away everybody's individual money. You got to give that up to the state. This is on the laptop.
She thought it was safe up in the Capitol because she don't want to take the laptop home. They just
she thought it was safe because these were her agents.
Right. But
half of
the police let them in.
That was the plan. But what she wasn't expecting was that amidst the niggas that she already planned to do that, there was other people that was there targeting her. Right. That they had no understanding of. So these are the niggas that took the laptop, took it back home, found out that they had set up a meeting, trying to set up a meeting to buy GE, General Electric, that handles all of the downward technological instruments that go into all the fighter jets, the battleships, all of that.
Right, I know Trump said they was trying to buy. They was trying to buy military secrets, but
that's GE. Right. If they buy GE, General Electric, they're going to own the United States infrastructure. So if you go military infrastructure, so if you go to war with them, you're going to be fighting.
So GE own a bunch of our top-notch stuff because I know they was top-notch as kids. GE, they had commercials. You remember?
Right, but what it is this. All of the American corporations have a clause in their setup that if anything pop off, they have to be able to turn their factories into weapon-making factories within 24 hours.
Right.
All major corporations. They don't tell you that, though, especially the ones dealing with massive deployment.
Well, I know.
GE is
Ford and all them, they gotta, you know, when we in war, they gotta shut down and start building military.
Right. You started back up. That's a mandate.
Chrysler.
That's a mandate. Not only car companies, but it's also GE, the electric companies, the tech, everybody. Right. So big tech is with NATO. You understand? Which Democrats is with NATO. Everybody is with NATO. Anybody with NATO is down with China. So when they found this out, they were going to meet in Pakistan to have the meeting to sign the papers. So Trump and them shut Pakistan down, shut the country down, put them niggas in the dark. Went in there with special forces and tanked the deal. Then
this was recently.
This was 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Look up, Pakistan has massive power outage.
No, because I'm up on Steve. Was it Steve Pagenik or whatever? He write books and whatever.
Who's that?
He was talking about it.
I don't know what that
shut down. I think he helped write some Tom Clancy shit. He's like, he's heavy into the CIA shit and all that. Steve Pagenik.
Okay, he be like kicking knowledge, or he's like a writer.
He used to work for the CIA and all that.
Oh, he like Tom Clancy, these type of nigga, John Grisham.
Well, yeah, he's like the co-writer of the Tom Clancy books.
Oh, okay, yeah, because they killed Tom Clancy.
Right, but he's like the second one that, you know. So he was talking about how they shut down Pakistan and everything.
They shut down Pakistan.
What he was calling it right now was a hard coup. Right now, what's going on between the military.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, the different factions.
Yeah, so they going at it. So once they shut that deal down, that set China back. So China just deployed some people in the South Pacific Sea. So allegedly the fleet is going back out to shut them down. Also, last month, there was a soft invasion in New Jersey in which 56 or 60 plus Chinese soldiers wound up dead. But they blamed it. The cover story was that there was some sort of earthquake or something. This war, these niggas is dead. So the war is already on. We're already at war with China. World War V is popping.
Well, I know also too. Let's touch on. I know the Prime Minister.
We're not at Canada. War. The United States and them is at war with these people. We're not at war with nobody.
But I know that the Prime Minister of Canada wants to train the Chinese soldiers over there.
They shut him down too.
In Canada,
they shut him down too. They got all of the troops by the border. So anything that China, because he worked for China.
Right.
They all work for China via Rome and Israel. And then NATO is the bag man. So once the head of NATO, who was the president of Italy, went down, this is causing everything. So that means Bergoglio is next, the Pope, all these people is with it.
Yeah, because they said that the Pope is arrested.
Yes.
Or stepping down.
Same thing. So all of these systems had to get reintegrated. And so while it's being reintegrated, this is the time where they're trying to make it seem like us over here. So what they're doing is going at the Black people, who are the real Americans, to get them to co-sign what is happening. So now Pelosi and them is trying to make it seem like they are the ones that were being insurrectionists against, when really it's the opposite. They set all of this up to make Trump look crazy. Then they trying to get Pence to flip the 25th Amendment, which he said no, he can't do that. And why are you trying to do all of this if this nigga's about to be out of office next week? Why are you going so hard to get him out of office preeminently? Because he's not going to get out. Remember, FDR ran the country for 12 years. I don't think people remember that during the New Deal.
Right.
And he was a paraplegic.
I remember he was only during the war or something or whatever. He
ran the country for like 12 years.
Right.
Indefinitely. During the Reconstruction, doing all of the crap that led up to what we're doing with now. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I was wondering. Like, why is they really caring about 7 days? This man only got 7, 8, 9 days. They trying to impeach him.
Remember the Machiavelli 7-day theory. Remember the Machiavelli 7-day theory? Remember that? The 7-day theory? Remember he said that? Look for me in the whirlwind. That's what Marcus Garvey said. So it's the same type of ritual. The 7 days represent the 7 days of creation. See what I'm saying? We're still also in the portal of the algorithm for the cosmic alignment. That's still happening.
Right.
So all this is happening. We're moving closer to the 7 days of creation. We're in the 6th day of creation right now. So by the time we get to the 7th one, which is allegedly the 20th or the 21st, that's when the new day's supposed to, that's when the new earth's supposed to dawn. And that's when this nigga reestablishes the republic.
Well, I know they got right now, they got DC is under occupation. You got the military.
Yep.
What is that all about right now? Like, you know what I'm saying?
The insurrection. The Insurrection Act, which basically says that in order to preserve the republic, the United States corporation has to be shut down. And all members of it who have been proven to be treasonous are going to be tried under the Insurrection Act, a part of the Sedition Act. According to the Insurrection Act, once that's done, he don't gotta leave office. That's why he said it's going to be a smooth transition. It's going to be a smooth transition from him to him. Remember, you're dealing with a Gemini, bro. You're dealing with the Gemini, the master blood dragon Gemini. So don't think that this dude just going to do it what they think he's going to do. Now, that's in the best case scenario.
Right.
Worst case scenario.
Right. You know, Steve Pagenik is y'all two on the same type of level right now, because you know what I'm saying? That's what they was saying, kind of the similar things, like he's not going to leave. There's going to be a bunch of arrests in these 7 days, or
that's the positive. That's in the positive. Now let's say the negative side. The negative, let's say none of this does happen. Let's say Biden do get in. The country is over. As you and I know it today. I mean, it's already done. But what if this motherfucker get in? It's over. They're gonna ixnay him. They're gonna get him out of there. They're gonna push Hills Up Harris up. She gonna pick probably Michelle Obama, some tranny or somebody to be number 2 with her, and they're gonna destroy the country. They're gonna follow through with the Hillary program, how she was gonna do it. But that's not gonna work. I don't think that's gonna happen. What may happen though, he may be inaugurated. He may get into the new spot. He is the president of the republic, and then these fake niggas, they do a fake inauguration anyway. Make it seem like this nigga's really president anyway.
You talking about Biden?
And use the mainstream media that they control, which everybody knows has already been banned, right? That nobody fuck with like that no more. And then use the mainstream media to act like the little decrees and stuff that he's saying as president is true. When we all know in the republic that this shit ain't real. So they may do that. They may try to flip that. Where the real president is running the real country, and then they got the fake president for the US citizens that still think is sweet, and that Biden is there holding him, not knowing this nigga's locked up or dead or hung or whatever they're gonna do. That's why I feel like they gotta do the open thing to show everybody how corrupt and all this shit we talking about just is. Look, Elon Musk became the richest man in the world.
Right.
On the same, who owned Tesla, and he became the richest man in the world on the same day that Nikola Tesla died. Think about that.
Right.
That's rigged, bro. That's a ritual. That's the algorithm.
I was understanding, like, how did they saying it was the stocks and all that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just overtook Bezos that quick?
Yeah, that's how they trying to say, because it's all rigged. It's fake. And remember, this nigga set up Tesla, right? Now remember, Elon Musk's father owned emerald mines. He didn't just come out of nowhere. He wasn't some nigga that brought himself up by his bootstraps. His father owned emerald mines. Mines, plural. So he came in the game rich. So let's not act like it's all, everybody, it's all fake, man. None of these stories they give you about these people is real. None of these niggas work for the position they got. The only thing they worked was they lies and they rituals to get us to believe that they was real. So here go Elon Musk, who sets up a company in the name of Tesla, who they allegedly killed. And the white Tesla, that's not even a real Tesla. The real Nikola Tesla was black. Excuse me, was melanated. So let's dead all of that. The real Thomas Edison was melanated. The real JP Morgan is melanated. These rich blacks be using white decoys on y'all through the Freemasonic obligations to keep the real puppet masters of this thing concealed.
Right. Okay, yeah, like my man said right here, I'm on Instagram. They got the Supreme Court boarded up.
Yep.
What's that all about?
It's done, because that Supreme Court is for the District of Columbia. That's not the real one. The real Supreme Court, I believe, is in Philadelphia. Yeah. Where the Capitol used to be. Right. In the Republic. You see? They closing the democracy down. There is no mention of democracy in the Bill of Rights, in the Constitution, in the Declaration, in a Declaration, the Declaration of Independence, nowhere. The Articles of Federation, nowhere. Democracy came into existence through Thomas Jefferson. That's it. And we already know that he was a voracious, insane, in the membrane mulatto, you see what I'm saying, who was willing to rape and kill and eat his own children.
Okay, and so let me get into this. We got Italy right there. They saying is on the verge of collapse.
Yes.
It also just came out, you know what I'm saying, they indicted some of the biggest mafia figures
Yes.
of in history, they saying.
Yes.
Also, they found out that the military or something was involved with the Dominion machines or some shit, man. They was like,
I told you, the Dominion machines were deployed by the military under the contract through Italy, and then had a subroutine algorithm functioning based upon the quantum computing from the Hadron Collider, right, through the D-Wave modems that they put on the machines. So these niggas, so the algorithm is precognitively saying how many people are going to vote for this person, and then created another algorithm to negate that. That's why all of these votes appeared out of nowhere.
Right, because that's what the bomb was that blew up supposedly on Christmas with the AT&T had the contracts. It was out there,
right,
yada yada, all
so
out there. Was all up the hoops.
They had to blow it up because also you have to understand the world done sped up. A minute, they're trying to reduce a minute now to 59 seconds on the atomic clock. Look it up. Because astronomically, we are light years ahead of where we were even yesterday. So the atomic clock.
They add the minutes up. You said they're trying to speed it up.
Type in astronomical clock sped up.
Yeah.
Is it?
Hold on.
Time sped up, or astrological clock sped up, or a minute. They want to make a minute 59 seconds now instead of 60. Type in new proposal to reduce a minute to 59 seconds.
Okay, oh yeah. Just 59 seconds. Hold on, let me see. All right, 59. Okay, let me see. No, it's not rising in a hurry. It says the phenomenon is going and speeding up. The clock.
See?
Minutes.
Astronomical clock, right?
Average, adding up to atomic time. Yeah, they talking about
atomic time. The atomic clock. Excuse me.
Right.
That's the clock tied to the atoms, to the atom, the atomic atom of humanity. This is what this clock is, and it's already sped up to the point where they're trying to reduce it. Don't you know that they're trying to slow time down? We want to take it from 60 seconds. A minute been 60 seconds for as long as we can remember. Now they want to reduce it to 59.
So they
now
say
they want
like
to
Earth time is speeding up, but we're getting slower or something, right? Or what?
We're speeding up.
Okay.
The Earth is also reflective of that electro vehicle and is also speeding up, right, which means we're moving closer to the time where they are done. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
We're moving closer to the time where these devils do not exist, faster than we even think. So what they got to do is reduce the time, slow everybody down like China did with the corona. They set the whole world back a year so that way they could move forward. That's why on New Year, they was all in Wuhan, China, ground zero, no mask, nothing, celebrating how they put the rest of the world in the icebox.
So I was trying to explain that to my parents, you know, the elders. I'm like, look, you had the rest of the world, but in Wuhan, and they had, this is the first time I've ever seen Wuhan on the damn countdown. Where have Wuhan been on the countdown?
Ever, because they switched it. Now the new year is going to start with them. That's what I'm trying to show you. They switching the year. So the year of the ox is what starts this. So naturally, a nigga coming in, barging his way into the White House is the ox. You see what I'm saying? Barging his way in. The bull in the china shop. You get the ritual?
Right.
The China shop is the Congress. Right. The China shop is the Congress. The bull was the nigga with the joint on, right? Who was really working for them, not Trump.
Right. Yeah, he working for, they side. Antifa, they all blaming each other. But they say
right.
He's working,
But all of these organizations is funded by who? George Soros. And who funds him? Israel. Who funds that? Right. China. See what I'm saying? And who's underwriting that? NATO. See what I'm saying?
Right.
China just now has went into Jamaica and offered them, all these Jamaicans, all this money. They're trying to literally buy the country and turn it into a military base for the war that they know they're gonna have to fight against us, against people up here.
Right, because I got
in Bahamas too.
Some Jamaicans down.
And the Jamaicans gonna do it. You know them niggas, man. They British.
They selling everything.
They sell themselves out all the time. I'm not talking about the real Escamicans. I ain't talking about the real natives and the real Maroons and all. I'm talking about y'all fake Christian, wannabe, hating black people, hate anything a black person do. But the minute a white man and Blanquito or Chinaman or somebody come, you're willing to do anything. Those is the enemies of humanity. Those niggas is more those type of
land out. People. What I'm hearing from Jamaica, they didn't sold the land out. Now they got to go into the same stores that they used to own being watched.
That's right, and that's good for them.
What happened in Detroit?
It's good for them.
We had to deal with the Arabs. We had to come in. You know what I'm saying?
It's good for them.
Right. We had to, the 90s, we was beefing with
these Jamaicans, they still wearing the wigs in court more. They still wearing white man wigs in the court more. They want to be white more than anybody else. You understand? And that's the problem. That mentality is in every country where melanated people is there and dominant. And they are willing to sell themselves out. They want to extinct us. You gotta understand. I was watching this brother, forget his name, but we're going in on rappers and the fact that all of this stuff that we have seen and involved ourselves in was fostered by the entertainment industry and Hollywood. Everything agenda that is pushed comes through them, and they always use the artist, the actor, the whoever to pump it, right?
Right.
And no matter how degrading, no matter how self-debasing it is, these slave-ass niggas still play these roles, more. They still do it. They still putting dresses on. They still putting lipstick and eyeliner.
A lot of the roles is being sucked up by, it's no disrespect, but by the foreigners. You got the
foreigners because they willing to do but these foreigners is playing roles of American blacks born here, so they are participating in making us look like savages. Half of these rappers not even from this country that's out here doing all this crazy gun violence, crazy shit and all that. These niggas not even from here. They just here to make us think that they us. And they act like animals and savages, and then they pay them all of this money for it to then promote us to act like them when really they being paid to make us look like animals. And they willing to keep doing it, my nigga. So what I'm saying is this, man. Anybody that has not, look, everything that you've ever seen about space, about history, about knowledge has come from a liar, period. So when you come to me with a degree talking about, like I just saw this thing, my queen showed me how this sister was sitting there and she was standing back on her son and they was waiting to see if he got accepted in his bar exam and shit. And then once he found out he was accepted, she just broke into such a happy praising of Jesus.
I've seen, I mean,
praising of Jesus and how great it is. Do you understand that she is praising Jesus for blessing her son to go into a system that is set up by Satan itself? You understand? She just gave praises to Allah, i.e. Jesus, her higher self, for her son being accepted by the devil. Name one lawyer that ever done anything for black people. Name one lawyer that ever done anything for black people in mass that you see a change for it in your life. Never. You've never seen one. Don't talk to me about Thurgood Marshall, that bootleg piece of shit. Don't talk to me about what's his name?
I can't, you know.
Johnny Cochran. Don't talk to me about these
Hey.
bootleg niggas, bro. Don't talk to me about these dudes. Talk to me about a real lawyer that you know that really advocated solely for black people to get out of jail solely with no help for no white people. Never. You've never seen one, because when you become a lawyer, you down with them, man. Unless you're gonna be a private lawyer that's only working for Moors, you could do that. The Prophet had that. But these niggas don't want to do that. They want to set up practices and get money with these white folk. They want to be lawyers to sue their own people. You understand what I'm saying? Like this, you just rejoiced. So for your son's future to be able to go and lock up other people, man, that look like him. That's the real enemy. That's the biggest enemy of black folk. Us. You understand? That's the problem. And then when you get knowledge of yourself and you really on your dean and you really on your square, you almost can't be around them.
Right.
You almost can't be.
I can speak because I deal with a lot of, members that's within the city of Detroit, activists, whatever.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know that the city officials can say they for you, but they can work against you, because I had a lot of run-ins with city councilmen and everything to get shit done in the neighborhood, and they try to treat you like a business and slide you a business card.
That's it.
But I told them, you don't work. I don't work for you.
You work for me.
You work for me. I don't take business cards. And then when they seen I was on that tip, then they treated me, oh, well, let me,
because they Freemasons and they working to keep the thing destitute with the other white Masons and keep the racial tension going through the gangs, and who the OGs in them gangs is all 33-degree Freemasons that work with the FAP niggas that's in the Fraternal Order Police.
People, man. This is our
that's what's going on.
That's holding positions, that's holding jobs, and that's working against us with the white man.
And that hate me and you. They hate us because we are not U.S. citizens. They hate us because we know we're Americans. They hate us because we have a nationality and we can have this type of stuff off. And the white man got to do exactly what we say he got to do. That's why they don't like us. They are slaves, and they have sold their soul. Every Freemason alive, I don't care how pious you are, how benign you are, or how evil you are. Every one of y'all, when you got into that, in order to get into it, you had to ritualistically celebrate and participate in the murder of the one who built the temple for the hating nigga they call Solomon in history. You have participated in the ritualistic killing of our people for the past 200 and some odd years. And you want to tell me that you could be that and be a Moor too? Any Moor that fix his mouth to say that type of shit or whatever, you need to get him from amongst you. Now, we as Moors, we are always celebrated and put to the top of any of that Freemasonry stuff without us having to reduce ourselves and all of that. Now, if you want to give me an honorary degree, then you come outside that dismal crypt that you call a lodge and come and bring it to me in the real world in front of Moors. But I ain't going to go into no dismal crypt to get something from you that I already got. I don't have to study 35 to 50 years to be something I was naturally born as. And they got these niggas fooled. And these niggas are selling a soul for and birthright for a loaf of bread, man. All so that way they could walk around in pageantry, right? Remember, I use the term pageantry, Aeropagite, right? And don't the Masons have pageants? Right? Because they Aeropagites, they're homosexuals. Even if they're not, they are. Because when you wear that apron is symbolic that you are ashamed of your phallus, because that's what we gave them devils, because their penises were so small that we was tired of looking at them like women. They look like little girls. So we gave them sheepskin aprons to put on to hide their nakedness, because they weren't real men. So now you a man, you a black man today. Now you put an apron on. What that say about you? You understand what I'm saying? Like Moors be so smart, they stupid. They be trying to put themselves and inject themselves in stuff that had nothing to do with them, that came after, man. You know what I'm saying? And then the problem is, then you get other Moors that then want to go in and try to debate and go at these people. You don't cast your pearls of swine. You don't debate something with a Christian. You understand? Our ancestors never did that. The Christians would get out the way, bro. Christian couldn't ask me no question. They had to study 35, 50 years to even walk on the same street as me. But no, y'all niggas want to integrate with these people. You want to get degrees from them. You want them to tell you that you're good. You want to get a barrister degree. You want a bar card. Like, this is where these niggas is at. You want to be in the Air Force. You want to do everything other than build your own nation.
I know in closing, we got people like Phil Valentine. We got, of course, your boy Trump. We got protesters. We got metaphysical people with religious views, all being banned right now off of Twitter, mainstream media, social media right now. Right now, it seems like to be a purge on knowledge right now, to where knowledge was plentiful. Right now, it seems like the truth is being taken out.
Yeah, but not by Trump and them.
Right.
They actually doing the opposite. That's what I said. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So Trump ain't my president. You know what I'm saying? Obama wasn't my president. Clinton wasn't my president. Bush wasn't my president. Reagan wasn't my president. Carter wasn't my president. You know what I'm saying? None of these niggas was my president. So when you hear black people talking about, oh, we at war, or oh, we attacked them niggas are slaves. Anybody talking about this United States is your government, you a slave. You a op. You're a communist. You're a transsexual. You're a transhumanist. You're not with humanity. United States is not a human government. District of Columbia is not a human government. These United States does not mean Washington. These United States mean the real United States, which is who? Tel Aviv, London City, Washington, D.C., Vatican City. That's it. So when they talk about citizen of the United States, the people who they not at war with, those are the only people. Everybody else, they in conflict with. So this purge of this information been coming, and we've been telling people for over 20 years it was going to happen.
But look, they banning even some of their own white people. They banned Kurt Schilling, man. You know Kurt Schilling, that's the damn Boston Red Sox champion, the pitcher. He put
that's how you know it's over.
And AIG took his insurance.
Yeah, God, they shutting white people out of it because they know that this is bigger than color, man. This is about humanity facing extinction and us all uniting against China. Because China is acting as the bulldog for NATO and Israel. And if you don't stop them, they're going to try to turn all the world into you saw what they did to the Falun Gong. You saw what they did to the Uyghur Muslims.
Right, they put them.
You saw what they did to the Christians.
I was just the Falun. They was the meditation group. They put them in camps, man, and
put them in camps. Organ harvested them.
They harvested their organs. I was just watching that last week on YouTube.
Also, people need to go on Netflix and look up the documentary Crack. Look at that. Peep that documentary. That shit was hard.
What was that? What was that called?
It's called Crack.
Okay.
It's called Crack. Look at it. It's next level. For those of us that lived through it, and you're going to see your boy Biden in there, down with the game. So what I'm saying is,
man, I've lived through the 90s, man, through the 80s.
Everybody, I was there at the first round of it, 83, when that shit hit. I remember when that shit hit, bro. I was 8.
They say that's next level violence. This ain't violence, yo.
Nah.
I lived through shootouts.
Nah, we done lived through everything.
Right. Everything.
This ain't nothing.
This ain't nothing.
This ain't nothing. This coup d'etat, they've been doing it. This like the 8th coup d'etat, man. Everybody want to read about it? Look up the surrender letter from 1867 from the last governor of North Carolina, and the letter he wrote and all that. That shows you that this government is illegal and has been illegal ever since.
You said
So
North Carolina, a governor?
North Carolina, surrender letter from the governor of North Carolina, 1867, to General Canby.
Right.
So when people read that letter, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I've used that letter in court to show and prove that this government is not the real republic and there's no such thing as a democracy. And I'm not going to leave the republic to lose. I'm not going to leave my rights, my unalienable rights in the republic to go into the democracy to get privileges. Nah, I'm staying here. What they doing is kidnapping people, Moors out the republic, and trying them into democracy. And now they want to get the democracy basically to overtake the republic altogether. And it's not going to happen because any country on the world that the United States has interest in means that they owe us. And when I say us, I'm talking about those of us Moors. We're paying for everything. So in this new republic, those of us with free national standards, we're the kings and queens again. In the democracy, they're going to try to make us slaves again. So all you black people, all you black women, all you black lesbians, all you black transgender, transhuman people, all you communist, black socialist, Marxists, low-key Satanists, all y'all niggas, y'all are the ones who are the enemy of the state now. So anybody on Twitter and all of those platforms, all of those are the communist, big tech, human trafficking platforms that take a portion of their money, translate it into Bitcoin, and then buy more children to sell, and then back their sales with adrenochrome. And back their sales with Bitcoin adrenochrome.
Just the days after they banned Trump, 2 days after that, they had a porn star named Belle Daphne showing pictures of rape fetish.
Yeah,
so you can have that on there, but you can't have speaking their mind.
But what I'm saying is, I'm saying all that for a reason. What I'm saying is all of those platforms that have those things set up have a slush fund, what they call slush funds.
Right.
And a portion of those monies go into the Bitcoin market, right? The illegal Bitcoin market that is backed by adrenochrome.
Right.
So they are putting money into buying more children globally and then receiving that money, backing it with the adrenochrome, and then adding it to their assets through the Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin been dropping ever since. Remember like 2 days ago, that shit was man high. Now it's tanking, right? Now Facebook tanking, everybody tanking because everybody leaving it. Remember MySpace? Remember how niggas did MySpace for Facebook?
Right.
That's what's about to happen in Facebook. Everybody about to bounce because that is an illegal monopoly organization that's run by the same people trying to overthrow the government. Big tech, Silicon Valley, they are all under the Insurrection Act. All them niggas is trying to destroy. If they can stop the sitting president of the United States of America from speaking to the people, imagine what they would do to you. So any Negro, melanated person, any white person, any Mexican, anybody that was celebrating when this nigga got shut down from being able to talk, you are the problem. You are the one that's going to the FEMA camps, not us. Y'all are the ones that's on the wrong side of history. You understand? Y'all are the ones that have participated in the wanton destruction of your people. All of these black female mayors, all of these black female fucking chief justices and lawyers and doctors and all that, all y'all black boule niggas, David Cameron, married to all of these crackers and all this stuff. Your time is now. They coming for you. Because the white people looking at it like, yo, at least with the Trump thing, we could get together. Y'all niggas is supporting Biden after he locked y'all up for generations. Right. The white people is looking at us like we crazy because we are, well, not us, because these blacks are. You need to separate yourself.
I got a lot of my family. I can't say here in Detroit, man. There's a lot of them, man.
Separate yourself from them people more. I'm telling you, separate yourself. In the time coming, these are going to be the same people running you down for nationality, running you down to get knowledge of what it is, because they ain't going to have no real knowledge other than that. And we in the Republic is protected. We are not, look, I was raised in the 80s, I tell niggas B, and they raised me against that communism shit. I grew up with Rambo. I grew up in Wall Street. I grew up watching Dynasty. I grew up watching Superpowers and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like real American shit. Grizzly Adams, Little House on the Prairie. Like none of them shows was communist based, bro. None of that was communism. None of that. The Jeffersons, nigga. Good times, nigga. Like, this is how I grew up.
Oh, family, man. Family.
So if y'all wanted me to be a communist or democratic socialist, like Dead Prez and the rest of these dudes that's been out here all these years telling you that you're a communist and all this bullshit, when these niggas is ultra capitalists, these are the ones that's putting you in the trick bag, bro.
Yeah, we always
these the ones.
We always been capitalistic, man.
Look, we Moors. Look, Moors like money.
Right.
Moors like having shit. Moors like gold, silver, the finer things in life. You understand what I'm saying?
We also like dealing with, each other and dealing with others, you know what I'm saying?
That's it. We only like dealing with each other in commerce, but when we come to any other Cretan, we treat them with love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and equality unless we can. But for the most part, Moors is not into being broke. Moors is not into labels that make them feel and look like slaves. So we're at the forefront of this revival because we have been the only ones that have been consistently saying the same thing before all these other movements started. There's no movement that came after the Moorish Science Temple that was not affected by it or had somebody that was in the new movement that came after that was a part of it. I don't give a damn what it is. There would be no Aboriginal movement on earth if it wasn't for the Prophet Noble Joe Ali telling people that when the European got here, the Moors was already here.
That's right.
There was no Dane Calloway. There was none of that shit existed. You understand? None of these people that's talking all of this stuff about Moorish history all of a sudden and all of this stuff or trying to talk about the Moors without using the word Moor, which then show and proves that they all agents or Freemasons. Because the white Freemasons give it up to me whenever they see me. They let me know all the time. And any other real Moors, they will know. Remember we went to the restaurant that night, G? Remember how they treated us?
Right.
Exactly. Like we ran the store. They was literally shutting the shit down. They said, you know what, you chill as long as you want.
Right.
Because Moors bring prosperity. Just people seeing us sitting somewhere is going to bring people. Just seeing me sit there with a fez on or with a turban on or whatever, just bringing people into the thing.
Yeah,
how many times you and your queen been sitting there?
I have plans, in the future to, come down to Miami and do, more talks and shit, more kicking.
Yeah, more. We gonna do it.
We had an excellent night, me and the wife.
Remember?
It was legendary.
You know they closed that spot, right?
Did they?
Yep. Right after the Rona, boy. Right after the Rona, shut all these businesses down. You understand? Yeah, more. So that's what I'm saying, God. But the spot is still there. So maybe that's for us to, you know what I'm saying? Never know. Turn that into something.
Right.
There's no Moorish cuisine out here. But the Moroccans that do have restaurants out here, I'm cool with them niggas. Because I specifically go to these restaurants like this, and then the whole thing open up. The whole thing open up.
Switch.
And these Moroccans know. They know that they in the kingdom and we in the empire. They just assume that you don't. So when you inhabit and when you in there and whatever, you ain't even got to speak no Arabic. Because half of them don't even speak Arabic. Because real Moroccans ain't Arabs. Not the pale Arabs. The term Arab comes from the term Arab. It also comes from the Hebrew term Ereb, E-R-E-B, which basically means Hebrew. So this is what I'm saying, more like we're so inundated with the fake shit that, again, inshallah, it goes purposely how it's supposed to. These niggas get arrested. They start doing the joints. Like, how come nobody's showing the picture of Kamala Harris with Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein? I got the picture. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. She down with it. You understand that Ghislaine and them niggas had submarines. They had a submarine to go to the island more. That's what he's bringing the kids in.
Right.
How many people know that Joe Biden Island is right across the way, right across the strait? Literally, you could take a boat directly to Joe Biden Island across the street from Epstein Island. All these niggas is baby eaters. So when you voted for them black people, you voted to have yourself basically become a sacrifice for these people. And don't think they ain't check your vote. They know who voted for everybody. They got everybody.
Whoever voted for Trump, they want to put them in the camps and they want to do this. So
it's going to be the reverse. It's going to be the reverse. Everything that they're saying that they're doing or that they're about to do or Trump did, they did. So everything they said is about to happen to them or that they're going to do to people who like Trump is going to happen to them. It's the reverse. That's where we at right now. We're in an inverted time where we coming back to our proper position. We're exactly where these people were. They are where we were in 1492. So all we got to do is do what we didn't do in 1492 and unite. So anybody that don't like Moors or want to feel like Moors or this or that, like, you could keep them feelings, man. Keep that same energy. Because when it goes down and they start really showing and proving to you who's the real landlords of the country, remember, because I'm a remember. And so y'all start coming for asylum and all of that. Just know there's going to be a lot of Moors that's not going to be feeling that, B. Because y'all put yourself and put us and ridiculed us for over 30 plus years. You know how you understand that the reason why we don't have people like Bobby Hemming and shit around is because you had niggas in the damn community that was into like spirit Paulo or whatever they was into, that they sending him spirits because he was fucking up their money, but he was telling people how they can initiate themselves and not having to give these niggas money. And so these niggas sent all of their fucking work spirits to go and get at this dude, called him a stroke. Black people only put roots on each other. They don't put roots on the person they spoke to. That's why all that shit bullshit.
I have dealt with some Africans back in the day to where, you know what I'm saying, they say they can look at you, your hair fall out and all that shit. I used to never believe that shit, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I actually started dabbling deep into the culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got that. They do a lot of shit.
It relates to how my grandmother, because, you know, we used to hang down in Alabama.
That's what I'm saying.
Georgia. They used to say the roots. Watch out.
Right here, more it's the same thing.
So I start relating that to this. It's basically the same shit.
And that's the problem. Our people born here be trying to go into the magic from over there, when we supposed to be dealing with the stuff that our ancestors left here, the hoodoo stuff that's here.
Yeah, they call it the
we ain't supposed to be dealing with all of that.
The roots. Don't be eating everybody's spaghetti, these girls' spaghetti.
Yeah, you can't eat nobody's spaghetti like that. You don't eat nobody's food that you ain't prepared for. You don't drink anybody that you don't like. You don't eat around people you don't like. You don't tell nobody you having a baby until maybe the 5th, 6th month. You don't go into you don't go mess with them Jews with no money. You don't go put yourself in position to be in somebody's debt. You don't ask bet in a CeeLo game. Like, there's certain shit you're supposed to know. And what I'm saying is that they created it where now they done trying to shut down the real knowledge, but all that's going to do is open up another portal for us to get this off. So they may very well do a fake inauguration and act like this nigga's president, knowing that he's indicted, knowing that he's arrested, knowing they're going to get and arresting all these other niggas, knowing they shutting down all of the platforms and stuff. And you're going to have black folk that's going to be right there supporting them doing it. That's what I'm trying to say. You have to accept that blacks.
I'm so messed up about my elders and some of my people that's out there that's only believe in the TV that's, you know, I'm gonna call it the I forget it, the one with
the television.
It was called the Truman Show.
Yeah.
You might as well say the Truman Show. It's all scripted, put in front of us, and they believe whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Because but you have to understand.
He set this up. He's an evil man. He had them white people storming.
Bro, what you have to understand is this. Our elders generation from our great grandmother, they turned a blind eye to consolidated benefit.
Right.
That whole era of Black Wall Street and shit is dead. They broke that. And Black Wall Street wasn't the only place that we had like that. There's all over the world, all over the countries. The true cotton kings, the true oil barons, and them were all Americans in the beginning. All black males. The same people they put in the Tulsa, Oklahoma with the Wounded Knee thing, that's where it was at. That's where the Wounded Knee wound up. So them same people were able to create a system where they was pulling out 3,000 barrels of oil, 3,000 tons of oil a day. A day. You understand? That's where all of these robber barons and these people came from. These white people came from. They came and took over the industries that we already had. White folk ain't create nothing, nowhere. The only people that ever create stuff for them is the white, black slaves that they put under them. So all I'm saying is, because we are guaranteed a Republican form of government, we're also guaranteed gold and silver with that. And if you don't got that, you got to give me unlimited credit and land. And now all of that stuff is coming back to us. And now that we're doing this, these Negroes want you to vote for somebody who implemented a plan to lock over 7 generations of men, women, and children in jail. Right. On behest of another man who was selling so much drugs, Bill Clinton was selling so much drugs in and out of Arkansas that he has over 200 sealed indictments on him right now.
Right, he got the one mafia that was coming out of Arkansas. I forget the name of the mafia that was coming out.
The Dixie Mafia.
The Dixie Mafia, which was running major drugs.
Major, but they were working with CIA. That's what I'm saying. All these things work together.
What Little Rock was banging with the gang.
Popping. That's why they had to blow up the thing with Timothy McVeigh, because all of the documents was in that building that they was auditing.
Right.
That's why they had your man blow it up.
A lot of it went left too, because Bill Clinton, he gained his prominence when he blamed a lot of my people here in Detroit with the drug trades, with the Young Boys Incorporated.
Yeah, because that was him. But they was getting the money from his brother.
Right.
They was getting the drugs from his brother.
The Chamberlain brothers.
Yes. That's all I'm saying. What I'm saying more is that all this runs through Freemasonic agreements. And we're not in the club. Those of us that's not in it, we their enemy. They can't trust us because they know we're gonna blow it up. So any Moors, any Hebrews, any Christians, any Muslims, any whatever, them niggas will be against each other, fighting wars with each other. But on Thursday night, all these niggas in the same lodge together. Now, does that make sense? No. Can you trust somebody like that? No. So what the hell are we still giving these niggas pass for? All that gang shit, all that Crip Blood, LK, Latin King, all of that stuff is Freemasonry, man. They throwing up the same Freemason sign. They just more open with it. They just more honest with it. But the young homies, the young brothers, the young warriors, young sisters, young warriors, they don't know the politics that the OGs got worked out with these niggas. They don't know. And they're not going to let them into that level of the Masonry. They're going to keep them killing each other so that way they can get a subsidy back for however many heads they basically shepherd to the prison industrial complex. And now these niggas get extra time left off of them. Because half these OGs is informants and shit anyway. There's no difference between the police and the criminals, man. They all criminal. So those of us that accept the fact that this republic is coming back online, all we got to do is stay away from the drama, man, and practice indifference, yo. Right. Stop getting caught up in what these people going to do. You was never a citizen in the United States. So what does it matter what they talk about, what they citizen? That's like you worrying about what they're going to do to the citizens in France. You don't live there. What you care for?
Give me that.
You know what I'm saying? Like you bugging. Like y'all, we be too involved in trying to solve everybody else in the world problem but ours. And we can't even look at each other walking down the street without fighting. They've created a hyper violence within us that it's like we feel we can't even live together. That we ready to be so nice to everybody else except our own. I don't want to live with no blacks like that. I don't want to live with no whites like that.
We have a different tone with the white people than we have with our own.
Totally. Because the white boy know it's on. The black folk, they caught up in status. They caught up in clickism. They caught up in how much better you doing than me. They caught up in how many likes you got. You know what I'm saying? They caught up in trying to force you into open conversations with them so they could get clout on your name. I had like 3 Moors this month try to come at me on some bullshit like that. You understand? And when I look at these niggas and check these niggas out, I could be these niggas' father. Half these niggas, you know what I'm saying, grew up watching me. Now you trying to come and check me? Like, what are you talking about? Like, who are you? Half these niggas was in grade school when I was talking all of this. In the street with the queen, with no help, when everybody else was saying that all of this was fake. That's why I can't even be like the nigga, like all half of the people that came up with this, they all Freemasons now. Nigga, I used to do the superhero radio show. This nigga's a Freemason now. Lying. Telling people, oh, well, you know, you could be a Mormon Mason at Frank time. Nigga, you lying. I got another nigga, my homie and shit. This nigga, all of a sudden, he wound up going to the army one day. Then I got another nigga turn around, this nigga wearing lipstick and goddamn eyeliner. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with y'all niggas? What happened to y'all niggas?
You got a lot of,
you know my own brother.
A lot of influence. You got a lot of the social media influence right now. You got a lot of clickbait.
These niggas too old for that, Mo. These niggas too old for that. You got grown men dyeing their hair blue and shit.
50-year-old clickbait, man.
You dig what I'm saying? You got grown men dyeing their hair pink and turquoise and shit. Like these niggas wilding, Mo. They wilding.
I think we was.
I've been the same way.
And you was asleep, man, and some other ones, man, was out asleep when they dropped the bomb, man. And I think we was asleep. We didn't.
Word, son. We must not have got the memo, son.
We didn't get the whip or whatever. They was outside at that particular time. I don't know.
Yo, I don't know more, but all I know is, like I said, one day I turn around, this nigga's a Freemason now, and then now there's no communication, just done. Like. But then don't tell me. Then niggas is telling me this dude giving stories, talking about certain shit, and that's the shit that I did. He going around living vicariously, telling stories of shit that happened to me like it happened to him.
Right.
This is what I'm saying, more. These niggas will put on a dress before they put a fez on. You know what I'm saying? These niggas will talk about, oh, you know, I'm a Moor and this and that. But when you see them, they rocking Shriner shit.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's like this, we as men are supposed to be absolute, bro, to a certain degree, especially with each other. If I as a man say I'm gonna do this, then I'm supposed to do this. If I'm a man say I'm not with that, then I'm supposed to not be with that. I don't say as a man I'm not with that, but then 10 years, yeah, I ain't with all that gay shit or whatever. Then 10 years later, I see you with goddamn eyeliner on, fam. Like, what's up with you, bro? It's like you forcing me to check. You forcing me to ask.
Like I said, the Truman Show, man. It's all the Truman Show. It's all scripted. A lot of people, even when they go outside, the people put on a show for themselves.
That's what they are, more.
They put on costumes. They put on wigs. They put on.
Andy Warhol said it. He said, in the future, everybody gonna be famous for 15 minutes. These niggas will put on wigs. I ain't never heard a man say, yo, sis, you dope, but you would be so much better if your eyelashes was out to here. You ain't never heard no man say that. You ain't never. So who's doing this to these women? Why are these women doing this to them? Giving themselves eye problems, giving themselves breast problems, giving themselves cancer, giving themselves
men how they should dress.
You know what it is? They got trannies picking out their clothes, putting on their makeup, doing everything, and they making them look like trannies. So that way, the male heterosexual men become attracted to trannies. That's what they're doing.
We got that was going on. I know when we went to Istanbul, they had I know it was a heavy Muslim country, but they had a heavily transgender population in Turkey.
Yep. But then they worried about the Kurds. See, I want to hate on the Kurds, but you're going to let the trannies just run through and destroy the country.
We read it to some Kurds,
this is what I'm saying.
We read it to some Kurds, man. They said,
yeah, man, the Kurds is down with the Moors.
Right.
So the Kurds,
just like you, we ran into them in the streets. They're in the streets. You know,
that's right, Mo. They in the street and they dark.
Right.
And they dark and they Moors.
Just like y'all, the struggle was real. You know, my wife didn't understand it too much. But, you know, being from Columbus, you know, she looking like, what's going on? I'm from Detroit. I already knew what they was talking about.
Exactly.
Because us going across 8 Mile, when we got to deal with in Detroit, it's the most segregated spot. I gotta say that's
in the world,
United States, in the world, because we got to go across 8 Mile. It's totally different where we stay at right now. We have no theaters. We have no Walmarts.
Yep.
We have nothing major, but nobody talks about this major city named Detroit, to where we don't have shit that's major. Everything is in the suburbs.
Yo, I just heard that they indicted the mayor behind the Flint water thing. They indicted somebody behind
the mayor, the governor. That's
the governor. Yeah, this is part of the thing though, because he was he Democrat, right?
No, he Republican.
He Republican, right? But he a Republican Dem.
That's what they call it. In the Flint thing, it was everybody in it. It was Democrats, Republicans. You had
know what I'm saying?
That turned it off. You had a Democrat mayor.
right? When the Insurrection Act come, you ain't hear nothing about the water shit. Now all of a sudden they got this mayor. Remember, the mayors were the ones that was working with the Chinese to bring them in.
Right. Well, a lot of things we have talked about previous. I don't know if you remember that China was milking the water.
That's right.
Tank loads of ships loads of fresh Michigan water and shipping it back
shipping it back to China.
Fresh lakes.
That's right.
Lakes, enough water to start lakes with our water.
That's right. And that's what China's doing because they destroyed their country. China's destroyed. It is a wasteland. The sky is orange. The water be red. These niggas are totally godless over there, more.
They eat
That's why the Chinese people that live here who are really on it, you gotta understand, half of them niggas might be agents too. Because there's a Chinatown in every city in the world, bro.
Well, I know they take a lot of our jumping carp right now that's flooding into the Great Lakes. China is the #1 buyer of our carp.
China has no organic infrastructure anymore. They have to turn the world into a breadbasket to feed it now. They're done. That's why they're going into every other country. Up until the Wuhan thing, the whole country was about to go bankrupt. That's how much bread they spread out there. So they had to do something to slow up the world's progress. So the way that they did that was initiate the disease through Fort Detrick, use the American scientists to culture it. Then they shipped it out to Wuhan to pop it off during a military exposition in which you had countries from all over the world would be infected. Then they sent them niggas back with this weaponized common cold, because that's what it is, and then use the implementation to then set up all of the trademark shit to be able to shut down world business. But only businesses that was open was the Chinese, you see? So this was an attack on Earth by the Romans.
I try to explain it to people,
the NATO,
because
the Chinese.
that's war type tactics right there.
We at war right now with them. Right now we at war with them. So let's stop acting like it ain't no thing, B. And those Chinese Americans, when you ever heard a Chinese person from China actually really talk to you about how the Chinese get down? Never. Because they all communists. They are raised brainwashed in that. You understand? These
the same people that would break ankles or whatever. What ankles to make sure they walk right or whatever.
Yeah, they would do the feet binding.
Right.
Yeah, they would bind the feet. Yeah, they still do that. But that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that all of this stuff done come to the head. So those of us that's been preparing, continue to prepare. Let's work together. Those of us that can, let's stop pointing fingers at one another, and let's stop wasting time trying to convince these brain dead blacks that they're gonna be anything other than slaves. Let these niggas believe everything negative about themselves. Let them vote for Harris. Let them sleep with Joe Biden. Let their kids be molested by him. Do whatever you feel you need to do to support this dying democracy, because we need you out of here in order for humanity to flourish. That's what really we need. We don't need no more rappers.
Right. We
don't need no more rappers. We don't need no more singers. We don't need no more game inventors.
The rappers are struggling right now. The musicians, the artists right now is struggling.
Yes,
I don't see any new movies coming out every day. I don't see songs coming out every single day to where you're gonna profit off of.
You're done. They done depreciated the OnlyFans market, where they put so much sex and premium on it, and there's so many females and males out there doing sex shit on it that it done dropped the value of how much money you make now. They done depreciated.
Somebody had a reality show on OnlyFans, and I'm saying, what, they got a porn? You know, I told my wife, what is it, porn? She said, no, they got regular stuff. You know, so
yeah, they got regular stuff too.
Fans, you thinking of just straight action?
Porn. Because that's who makes the most money, but they're not even making money on that no more. They done shut that down. It's too many. They done flooded the market. It's too many hoes. It's too many people prostituting themselves. So now just like in real life, they depreciated the value of the vagina so much that you could just get anything for like $20.
Right.
I was watching this dude, Charleston White, and he asked him about Little Baby paying the prostitute for sex, right, and the fact he paid her all of this money. Charleston White was like, yeah, but he actually brought value back to the game. He said, because these hoes that depreciated the pussy so much that you was literally getting BJs and shit for like $2, $5.
$2.
Now he done placed value back on it, where now it's 20 and up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So on the brain dead level, that's actually probably going to help sisters.
Right.
Believe it or not.
Pussy plummeted back in 08.
That's in their life.
08, when the housing market and all that went down.
Done.
So did everything else.
Done.
Plummeted it down to a standard to where.
So remember, all of this was done on purpose. All of it was done as an act of warfare. So now that we are all in open war, the country has to establish itself under the wartime president. Remember, Trump is the only president that ain't been at war with nobody.
None.
Niggas forgot that too. Trump the only president.
Okay, so how can they say that he's impeached twice, but he never left once?
Right.
So
because it's fake. Because we're getting the news from the niggas lying. The real news is coming from people like me and you.
Impeachment Act.
That's what I'm saying. And it was all based on Russia, but Russia was really the code name for China. You know what I'm saying? You ain't hear Vladimir Putin say anything about any of that shit, did you?
No. Not
a word. If niggas tell me that I was a traitor, you think I'm gonna be quiet? No. Because the nigga know he ain't had nothing to do with it. This is Zhang P and them. Using Russia as the cover for China.
Cheesy pain.
Yeah, man. This piece of crap, man. All these niggas, they believe that the state is God. They believe that they can eat people and do whatever they want to do to people. You can eat babies and like you can do anything.
Documentaries that I watched on China with the slave camps and with Apple right now is siding with the slave camps. Yeah, so
more
Apple's the
slave. They got suicide nets. They got these giant nets that they sit outside the factories because people was going crazy and literally jumping off the building. So they created suicide nets. So if they try to kill themselves, they could get caught in that, bring them right back inside and put them back to work.
What's the real beef with them with the Moors or / Muslims that they got?
The Chinese that's in China right now are not the original Chinese. The original Chinese is from the Republic of China when it was going. The China that's connected to us was called Cathay. Another way of saying that another modern buzzword for it is Tartary.
Right.
But essentially, Cathay, the ancient Chinese, the Golden Hordes, the Moors, these type of people, we created these niggas. Anyway, he created a system by which it all functioned. And so they couldn't move forward. And so Genghis created these Asian people, the modern Asian people we see today.
Right.
So by the time of the revolution in China, the Chinese Revolution, you had a split between the real Chinese and the ones that they was importing from Manchukuo, which was a fake republic set up by the Japanese in China during the war. And so they was taking a lot of these Japanese and mixing them with Chinese and then putting them in mainland China as the new revolutionists. And then put them under the Red Book under Mao Zedong, who was a FTM. He was born a female to a male. And he's a Jesuit. He also was Jesuit trained, just like Sun Tzu. So when these niggas be talking to you about the art of war and all of that, Sun Tzu is a Jesuit. So it don't matter. So the relationship between the dirty Roman Chinese and the Roman Vatican have been going back a long time. And so these niggas all paid the money, and that's what happened. And so the real Chinese, the nationals, had to flee, you see, and they went to Taiwan.
Right, yeah.
And set up the Republic of Taiwan.
Taiwan said they the real China.
They are the real national Chinese by blood. And all them Taiwanese people, when you really look, a lot of them be mad dark. Right. Well, everybody was dark. So from Australia going to China, everybody get light skin. From China going all the way to Australia, everybody get dark skin. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So these Chinese who are communists, that's how they did it. So they trying to kill everybody, the Muslims and all of that, because they have integrated themselves into the Rothschild plan, because the People's Bank of China belongs to Rothschild. And they're the ones financing them. Remember, Rothschild is also the bankers for the Vatican.
That's why they raided Tibet.
Right. See? It's all right there. For books on this, you can get the book Golden Age of the Moor, get the book Golden Trade of the Moor, get the book The Moors in Spain, the story of the Moors in Spain, the story of the Moors after Spain, African presence in early Asia, African presence in early Europe, Moors and Christians, the wars in Barbary, America BC, Saga America, White Women Captives of North Africa. Get these books. When Nations Gather, Diplomatic Relations Between the United States and the Barbary Powers. I can't stress these books enough, bro. They ill. Forgotten Cause of the Civil War. These books go into the baseline of the stuff that I've been talking to everybody about for the past however many years. So get on that, get that stuff together, because it'll help you give a better context as to what this is. Also, get the Circle 7 Quran. You know what I'm saying? Definitely want to read that, because with that one book, just in chapter 47, Islam, oh, there you go. There you go. H in the Modern Bridge, right? You got that joint?
Right, yeah. I get a lot of books. I don't read them all off rip, but I get them because of eBay. Before when you mention them, they fucking go up in price. And
they go up more.
I get them while they $3, $5, $10, $50, $100. I get them while I can get them right now, and I read them later. So I haven't read this yet.
Get another joint. Get that one. Any book by Budget Meekin. Another one, Morocco as It Is, the Moorish Empire. And there's another one, the name of that joint. Damn. I forgot.
I know. I read.
End of Iberian Rule in America. Get that joint.
Okay. I know the book called The Octopus. Very good book.
Yeah, Trail of the Octopus.
Very good book about the corn industry and all that.
Yes. That was banned in the United States. I don't know if it's still banned out here. It still might be banned.
I got the old book. It was from the 1900s or something. I got that book.
Oh, now you're talking about the Octopus joint. I'm talking about Trail of the Octopus. This one is different.
This one is called. It's called The Octopus. It's about the wheat industry.
Yes. Now there's a part 2 to this that's banned in the United States called The Trail of the Octopus.
Right.
Try to get that as well. But yeah,
this is right here by Frank Norris right here. This book starts, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, more. That's a dope one. Another good one is a book called Pirate Utopia by Constantine.
Okay.
It's a small book too. It's like this big. It's dope. It gets into also another one called Papal Magic by Constantine too. I think he did that one too. It's called Papal Magic. It's small. It's like this.
Right.
So get those joints. And then on some spiritual shit, check out a real ancient grimoire called the Divine Pymander. For those that's into that. Because they'll talk about the violet flame and stuff like that in that. And that's a good tool to use right now. Violet flame energy. People could look that up. But I'm a flash because we've been on for a minute.
Okay, so before we end, how can they get in touch with you? Shout out.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you again, Mo, having me on. You can hit me up at houseofl@hotmail.com via email. You can check me out on YouTube under Aseer the Duke of Tears. They hit me with a low-key shadow ban on there. So I've been working on an algorithm to try to figure out how to upload my videos without them putting a delay on them. Because that's why I haven't posted anything recently. But check that out. Also on Blog Talk Radio, you can go check out 7 years worth of stuff we did under superheavyradio.com. Superheavy Radio on blogtalk.com. You can also check out www.cordobaorganics.com.
Yeah, I use that all the time.
And
I love the organic.
Islam, build to that, man, because the screen work. She doing it right now. She knocking them joints out right now. Definitely check that out. And you can check out www.aseertheduketears.com on the internet. And you can also check out www.gumroad, GUMROAD, road.com. Type in Aseer, the Duke of Tears, into the chat, and then a lot of my classes will come up, as well as my book. I did a book called, it's actually a graphic comic book novel. You might want to check that out. And a lot of the stuff, I just started rereading it again. And a lot of the stuff.
Is you selling that comic book?
I am. So it's print to demand right now until I get them mass produced, but I also have it on ebook because I'm getting it colored right now.
Right.
So I have that as well. But you can check the ebook on that, and I have it on print on demand for anybody who wants a hard copy. And yeah, more it's popping. A lot of the stuff I wrote about, people been telling me, yo, read your joint again, because mad stuff you talked about in that is already coming to pass. So again, thanks to the ancestors, thanks to the prophet, thanks to our collective higher self that I refer to as Allah, for delivering us here, right, and letting us see through the BS and not getting caught up in all of this fake Antifa, BLM, pseudo Aeropagite BS. Let's stick to our own vine and fig tree, man, and let this republic come back online so we all can get paid, bro. Because this whole welfare state thing is on its way out. So if we're not with that, you want to have your own. That's why they always telling you to get a job instead of starting a business. It used to be start a business, be an entrepreneur. Now it's get a job. So the job should be based upon something that you can do, that only you can do or do well, as opposed to going to work for somebody for 40 to 50 years, because look where that done got them. All my mother used to tell me was, you need to get a good government job. You need to do this. You need to do that. Now look what happened. Nobody got no government jobs. The whole government is shutting down. All of that stuff is fake. Everybody that taught us everything was a damn lie.
I always say I want to claim A, B, and C, D, all the way to Z.
Thank you, Mo.
We Moors. So
that's it, Mo. We gotta get it.
If A
and
don't
we need
work,
to be proud. That's right. And we need to be proud of that and stop engaging these niggas on the internet that are not Moors, that always want you to cast doubt on what you are, who you are. Because these niggas is all agents, and they can't be this. They can't be this fly. They can't be this knowledgeable. They can't be this pious. They can't be this respectful of women. You dig? So they want to reduce you and I to their level. So let's stay in the higher realm, man. Let's go back to this republic and let's stop flexing around, man. Get this money and stop playing.
Like I said,
again, thank you, Mo.
Okay, man. Man.
Thank you,
always dropping dimes, man.
Always, brother. Please send me the link when you're done, man. We really went in on today. All right.
I got
Islam,
you.
War. Islam nobles. Love to the Truth Talk Nation. Peace.
Much love to the Aseer and the fam, man. Peace, man.
Thank you.
Man. Aseer dropping dimes, like I said, man. Get that Moorish cookbook. You know what I'm saying? Get the Moorish cookbook. Hit me up, DM me, Instagram. You know what I'm saying? I'm a loss of words right now, man. It's always legendary to hook up with the great Aseer the Duke of Tears. Hit me up, Judo Woke Age Cash App. That's Judo Woke Age Cash App. Visit TruthTalkNews.com. You know what I'm saying? This right here gonna be on Patreon. So we're gonna start this off on Patreon. So you know what I'm saying? This is legendary. So like I said, this is Judo Woke Ace. Tomorrow we doing a show with 7 Mile Radio. Hopefully T-Miz will be with us, you know what I'm saying? So don't stop, man. This is the Truth Talk Nation. This is the Truth Talk Nation right now, the naval, the ship. And we landed. Right now, we touching base, we touching land. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, pick up the Truth Talk Nation, the Moorish Cookbook, Truth Talk Nation by Judo Woke Ace. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble's, Target. If you want this version, DM me. I send it straight to you. Get a discount this month. 20% off if you watch the show. Just mention Judo Woke Ace is the code. You get it for $30. Free shipping right now. So, like I said, you get look at it right now. You know what I'm saying? Excellent cookbook, hard copy. You know, more is just the key. So this is Judo Woke Ace. Like I said, I'll see you tomorrow. This is gonna be private. I'm just going through Patreon first. So I'll see you on YouTube. The Hidden Hand. Peace to Mark 7 Mile. Peace to T Mezzo the Great. This is Judo Woke Ace and my queen. You know what I'm saying? She ready for me. She like, when you gonna, hurry up and get back? You know what I'm saying? Because time is key with the family. But peace. Judo Woke Ace.